My dream died, boys. My dream died. Now, it took the Washington Wizards up until 2 days before Vegas Summer League actually begins to announce this roster, which kind of blows me a little bit because I wanted to know what the roster was like a little bit sooner than, having to have essentially a 2-day turnaround when it comes to the team. But I mean, one way or another, finally we got the roster, so I can't complain too much. First thing that touches my mind, or that makes me a little bit upset, as I said before in my expectations video, I wanted 𝙈𝙚𝙚𝙚 to play so bad. But all things considered, considering that as of right now, 𝙈𝙚𝙚𝙚 is quite literally starting for the French national team in the Olympics, I can't really be too mad at him. He's been balling. I'm happy he's balling. And I feel like, not even potentially, having this Olympic experience that he's going to get with that great squad that France has is going to be far more impactful than what he would be getting in Summer League. So I'm perfectly fine with that. He has so much potential that has just yet to be touched. And I think his team and the teams that they're going to be playing, because I do believe that they will get out of group stages, I think that's going to benefit him tremendously. But let's get to this roster that you boys have on your screen. So essentially, I'm going to start from Capital City Go-Go talent, because I don't know too much about the Go-Go talent, if I'm being 100% honest, because I'm not too thoroughly invested in the Capital City Go-Go or the G League, D League, whatever you want to call it still. And yeah, that's the basic way that I could potentially say it. So essentially, from this roster, we currently have 5 players representing the Washington, well, not the Washington Wizards, but representing the Capital City Go-Go for the Washington Wizards Summer League. I believe some of these guys are on 2-way contracts, and some of them are just outright playing for the Go-Go. Or in Eugene's case, I don't believe he was even on the Go-Go at all last year. I could be wrong. Could 100% be wrong in that case. But we have Jules Bernard, who, if I'm not mistaken, between him and Justin Champagny, however you say his last name, they were both 20-point per game scorers last season in the Go-Go, or for the Go-Go, which is promising just off of the fact that they could score. And as I mentioned in the last video, I'm more than okay if I just get to watch some type of Wizards team this season win any kind of championship. So if those 2 players are able to come into the Summer League and actually hoop, and this Wizards team is fun to watch, I have no complaints. And I mean no complaints at all. They're also bringing in Taylor Funk, who, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen him play with the Wizards Summer League team. I believe it's twice. I could be wrong, but I remember his last name playing with the Washington Wizards Summer League team before, so I'm pretty sure it's the same guy, because knowing the Wizards, they're not the type of team that seems to be in and out when it comes to this talent too much, so I'm assuming this is still the same guy. I could go back and fact check myself, but I'm gonna trust my gut on this one. And then obviously Eugene, who was a Washington Wizards or Capital City Go-Go standout. Honestly, I think them adding the Go-Go element on this team is a good and a bad thing in my opinion, because I want some of these young guys that we drafted to get a bunch of run, but once I get into the actual Wizards players, then I'm gonna tell y'all why I think some of my dreams are probably not gonna come true, on top of the fact that I already mentioned that Bilal is not gonna be playing. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention John Butler Jr., my fault. 7-footer with the Go-Go as well. Him and Taylor Funk, more or less running mates when it comes to that Capital City Go-Go thing. They essentially, from the Go-Go, they more or less have like a potential starting 5 just out of straight Capital City Go-Go players, which I think is kind of cool that if they really wanted to, they could run a main roster 5 and then they could run a Go-Go 5, which is really cool to me. But I'm not too sure if they're going to go out and do anything like that. However, when it comes to, we'll start with outside talent before we go to main roster talent. As far as outside talent, all we have is the short king, Marquise Noel, who played for the Raptors Summer League. He was a Kansas boy that came out, or not came out, but was undrafted last season, 5'7". A crafty, good shot creator. Do I know if those shots are going to fall consistently due to, obviously, the short king tendency when it comes, not tendency, but the short king life when it comes to being in the NBA makes things extremely difficult. Like, I couldn't imagine playing basketball in the NBA amongst the trees being 5'7". But considering that bro is still out here fighting, I mean, I'm rooting for him. Short kings are great. I mean, shit. I still remember the days watching IT play for that Boston Celtics team absolutely kill my Wizards, bro. To this day, I still hate Kelly Olynyk just because of that playoff series. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be 100% real with you. But, I mean, I'm rooting for him to do good. We also have Eric Stevenson, who I'm not really too familiar with his game whatsoever, so I'm going to just leave that out, but at least give him a quick little mention, you know what I'm saying? So we have Eric Stevenson, and then the only outside undrafted rookie that we're bringing in is a guy by the name of Tyler Robertson, who was a guard from the Portland Pilots last season. And bro is a 6'6", 235-pound guard that averaged basically 17, 4.5 rebounds, basically 4 assists, on 45% from the field and 37% from the three-point line. Now, I don't know nothing about your game, Tyler Robertson, but if I'm just solely going off the stat watching aspect, he looks like he could be solid. Now, I think the only issue would be is that since this guy is coming out as a senior, I wouldn't be surprised if his age is a little bit on the higher end. I would look that up, but I'm not going to actually fact check that right now. But assuming he did 4 years, he's probably somewhere around the 23, maybe 24 standpoint as far as age is concerned. But I mean, shoot, man, sometimes you can come in and you could be NBA ready. Do I know if this guy is going to be NBA ready? Nah, but it's another cool face to be able to look at during the summer league and be like, yeah, maybe this guy could be something. But as far as the actual main roster players that made the team, Patrick Baldwin Jr., who, I'm not going to lie to you, last year, I didn't really see too much to have a truthful opinion on Patrick Baldwin Jr., so I'm not going to say anything too bad, nor am I going to say anything too good about him, because I would like to say that the verdict is not out on Patrick Baldwin Jr. just yet, and I would like to see him get some good minutes, some good run in Summer League, so we can at least potentially see what is there, because I believe he could be similar to a Bilal Coulibaly in a 3-and-D wing, but I don't know if he has the ceiling that Bilal has. Does that make sense? I'm assuming that makes sense, but I swear sometimes when I say things about how I view these players, it just makes sense in my head, but it doesn't make sense when it comes out. But yeah, I hope Patrick Baldwin does really get some good run. Jared Butler, y'all saw a lot of good out of him last year when it came to the OKC Thunder. And now we saw a tiny glimpses of him being decent. Like, I believe he had the 11 or 12 assist game against Boston at the end of the season last year. Jared Butler could be pretty solid for us in the summer league. Jared Butler was a cool player for me to watch low-key because he was one of the few players that I actually watched in college. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't really watch too much college ball if I'm being real with you. But Jared Butler, he could be interesting. I think, unfortunately though, my one gripe with Jared Butler is I don't know how the summer league coaching staff for the Wizards is going to do this, but I think with Jared Butler being on the roster, there's a potential that they start him over Bub, and that was one of the things I was talking about that I don't necessarily like, because I kind of want Bub Carrington to be able to get as much run as he can, because if the Wizards go in to starting day with Malcolm Brogdon on the roster still, he's gonna start. And if we end up also going in with Tyus Jones, where does Bub Carrington's minutes come in exactly? Because we moved Denny for essentially Bub Carrington and a first round pick that's like, I'm not even a first round pick. We moved him for Malcolm Brogdon in the first, my bad. But if we move Denny for this player, basically, y'all aren't gonna just not play him, are you? Because that wouldn't make no sense to me. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Nextly, obviously, as I just mentioned, we have Bub Carrington, Carlton Carrington, whatever y'all want to call him, Bubba. Think he could be a really good summer league player for us. I do hope that he starts over Jared Butler and we get to see a little bit of that shot creating potential. However, at the same time, I would kind of be okay if they run Bub Carrington with like a second unit of a bunch of go-go players, and from there they figure out if Bub Carrington has some of the playmaking chops, because he has obviously some players around him that could score. Time out. Am I talking myself into an idea of being okay with Bub coming off the bench? Hold on. What am I doing to myself? Yeah, let's get off of that. Nextly, we have Johnny Davis. That one is a doozy because I don't want to say that the verdict is out on Johnny Davis, considering Johnny Davis is only 22 years old. But, I mean, I feel like in certain instances, like, the one that I view the most is the James Wiseman or even the Marvin Bagley situations. How people say James Wiseman is a bust, Marvin Bagley is a bust. I understand those players have not lived up to where they were drafted, being 2 and 3. In Marvin Bagley's case, he was what, 2 picks before Luka? Or 1 pick before Luka and Trae Young or some shit like that? But at the very least, in James Wiseman and Marvin Bagley's case, they have shown flashes of being able to be good. With Johnny Davis, we quite literally have not seen anything just yet, and I just don't get it. Like, I really don't. I understand that the Wizards are not giving him the run that they probably should be giving him, realistically, and that's me trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But even when bro got the run, he still didn't show us anything, and I'm just not understanding it at this point. And I don't want to label him a bust. Honestly, Johnny Davis is probably going to start when it comes to Summer League. Let's be real. He's probably going to start. He's one of our younger core veterans, air quote, if you want to put it like that. But he's probably going to start. I just want to see something from Johnny Davis before I really want to put the fat bust title on his name, because I feel like people in the NBA community are so quick to label a player a bust. So quick. Now, I know in Johnny Davis's case, it's been what, 2 years now? 3 years? Like, Johnny Davis, please. If you start, show us at least flashes in Summer League, and then can we go into the regular season? You probably won't get too much run, but when you do get some run, show us something. Because I feel like there's potential there with Johnny Davis. It's just one of my biggest concerns now is I don't really know if he's a true shooting guard anymore. Because if you can't really create your own shot at the NBA level, you have to be able to do something. So if maybe he could find some playmaking chops, maybe we could find a way to squeeze him in and get some backup 1 minutes or so. I don't know, man. Johnny Davis, I'm sorry, bro. I really just don't know with you. Obviously we have another rookie, Kyshawn George. I just hope that he gets some really good run, 3-and-D guy. Hopefully I get to find out if he has the handle or not, because I haven't done the research on that aspect. I really just been waiting for a lot of these players rather than doing research. I just want to watch what they do when it comes to actual Summer League action, because they should be going up against a pretty good Summer League roster from the Atlanta Hawks as well. At least I would hope. Considering you have the number 1 pick, you might as well try to put somewhat of a competent Summer League roster around 𝙈𝙖𝙠𝙚. But I just want to see what Kyshawn George can do. And I mean the all-around game and not just the 3-and-D game that everybody is aware of. And then last but not least, Alex Sarr, Mr. number 2 draft pick, number 2 overall. I think we already know he's going to start, but I honestly think Alex Sarr is going to be fine. Whether they run him at the 5 or whether they run him at the 4, he'll probably be ran at the 4, and they'll run out a lineup of, like, it'll probably be something like it'll probably be something like Jared Butler, maybe Johnny Davis, and if they don't play Johnny Davis, maybe they'll put Bub at the 2, potentially, and then at the 3, I would assume at the 3 that they would bring out Kyshawn George. I would assume he would start. And then outside of that, it'll be Alex Sarr, and then the last player that we have being Tristan Vukovic, which I'm beyond ecstatic that we actually re-signed him, even though it's only a 2-way deal. It is what it is. But yeah, Alex Sarr, I think he's going to be fine. I think he has the potential to be the best player in the Summer League this year, which I am high-key hoping for. I mean, if you saw what 𝙘𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙢 did with Miami, hey, Alex Sarr, I just need you to at least, even if you don't show us tremendous offensive game, can you show us the defensive prowess that people have been talking about for the last year, essentially? That's all I want to see. I'm sure the offensive game will come a lot easier in the Summer League. He'll probably be able to get to the line. He's probably going to get a lot easier looks when it comes to getting down there, assuming someone can get the ball to him, which I believe Jared Butler and Bub Carrington are both capable of doing. I just hope that we see that defensive prowess that everyone has been talking so highly of. And then last but not least on this roster, we have Tristan Vukovic, who I'm just happy we signed him. I wanted to see more, bro. Good 7-footer. He could space the floor. I would assume he could come into playing some good defense. And even if he doesn't come into playing some good defense, if him and Alex Sarr end up being a front court duo that the Wizards really move on from, as long as Vukovic has or can get some good feet underneath him, and he can shuffle, he can move vertically, he can move laterally, then I think that they could be a great combination of playing off of each other, being able to check both power forwards and centers, switching on both sides when it comes to both ends, and even potentially switching to maybe threes. I don't think Vukovic can move out and guard a guard at all. I think Alex Sarr has that potential, but I don't think that Vukovic can move out and guard a guard. But as far as I said, like starting lineup, unfortunately the one that I dreamed of, the Bub Carrington, Bilal Coulibaly, Kyshawn George, Alex Sarr, Vukovic is dead because obviously Bilal's not playing. And realistically, Bub is probably not going to start, unfortunately, but I mean, you live and you learn, I guess. But I think a realistic lineup for this team is going to be probably Jared Butler at the 1, and then I would assume it's going to either be Johnny Davis or Bub. Johnny Davis or Bub at the 2, potentially. And then, like I said, Kyshawn George at the 3, I'd hope. And then you'll have Alex Sarr and Tristan Vukovic at the 4 or 5. You can flip that however you want. Then off the bench, it'll probably be, because I'm pretty sure they're going to play every single player that is on this roster. But if I had to pick like a first 5 up, it would probably be like Bub either at the 1 or the 2. Well, probably Bub at the 1, and then you just slot the last 4 slots in with go-go guys, essentially. And then if you had to bring other people in, then that's when the extra 3 signings would come in. And by that, I mean the Eric Stevensons, the Tyler Robinson, and the Marquise Noel. I think this team should be fun to watch. I'm trying to have the highest of high expectations that this Summer League team will be fun to watch, because I've been hyping myself up to enjoy watching freaking Summer League for the first time since we had Kelly Oubre. And I swear, Wizards, if y'all let me down, bruh, I will be at Capital One Arena. And I will be rioting. I'm not actually going to be at Capital One Arena rioting, man. I wish my Wizards luck. I'll catch y'all Friday after the game. Timeout. When is the game, now that I'm thinking about it? I had the information all down pat, and then I just completely lost information. Like, how come on, Hoodie. You got to be better with your information, bruh. You guys to be better with your information. I'm gonna leave this part in too, bro. Okay, my fault. So I will be back with y'all Friday. It'll probably be a late night upload, if not a secondary upload, because the game is at 9:30. Fun. But yeah, I'll catch y'all then. And also let me know if y'all want me to do like other NBA stuff, because I thought about talking about the DeMar DeRozan trade, but I was like, if I'm just doing Wizards, is there really a point in me doing that? So yeah, if y'all watch this, let me know if y'all think I should recap other NBA stuff. If not, that's fine. One way or another, I'm still doing Wizard stuff. So your boy Hoodie out. Peace. I'll catch y'all on Friday or Friday night, maybe Saturday morning. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all.